All right, that's enough of that. What's up, April Sampe?
Hey, beautiful, beautiful lady.
What's happening, April Sampe? Where you at these days, eh?
Honey, the same place. I'm down to the Augusta.
The Augusta, Georgia.
Down to the Augusta, Georgia.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. So I know as you come in, you guys know what time it is. I know we have people that watch from all over the world. It's your
Mhm.
girl Constance Carter, and
April Sampe Foster. Please say the Foster. How you doing?
so as you come in and you get comfortable, make sure you put your where you're from in the comments box, because this is a dialogue and not a monologue. So we always love to hear where you're hailing from, where you're watching from. So put in the comments box as you come in, make yourself at home, because we love to acknowledge you. We want to shout you out. And I know that you see this topic, and I know what you're probably thinking. I know that you've seen stuff that's been going on New Year's Eve, and we have all these New Year's resolutions and all of these things. And so, a lot of people have been discussing things about the church, what's been
I want to
happening.
know if you swallow. Have you ever been swallowed? I'm sorry, did I say that? Oh
I'm
no,
not
I didn't say
listening.
it. TD Jackson.
I'm not listening to you, April.
I'm just
I'm not.
asking for a friend. Have you ever been swallowed?
I'm not gonna listen to you, and I'm not gonna participate in your shenanigans. I'm not gonna listen to you. So hey, who's this from Elk Grove? It says Facebook user. You must be inside the group. In Lithonia, Georgia. What's happening?
Hey.
So put your name on there because we don't see. What's up, April? I've seen you perform
And
so
Purple
many
Honey?
times. Wait, April, is Purple Honey the place I went to in Baltimore?
Kind of. That wasn't like the full Purple Honey experience, but it
Okay.
was a magically delicious experience.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, everybody loves to see April perform.
What's
If
up,
you've never
family?
seen if you've never seen April perform, you missed out on a huge treat, because she is one of the dopest performers that I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I just wanted to give you a little sample of it. I didn't do the whole thing, April. Did you see her beatbox to know, you guys? April is so freaking dope. All right, so let's get right to it. Hey,
Thank you.
so she was dope. D Hegel 0671. That actually was at the what was that? The vegan festival in
Vegan Soul
Baltimore.
Fest. Yeah,
Vegan Soul.
for all of my vegans out there or want to be vegans, happy Veganuary. It's Veganuary. Veganuary. So I just want to make sure I give a shout out to all the vegans in the building.
Hey. So listen, April, you and I were having a discussion, and I think April is pretty April and I argue all the time. Let me just put this
All
out
the
here.
time.
April and I.
Wait, I need to say this. I would not want to argue with anybody but you, Constance. So I enjoy it.
I'm honored.
No, seriously, I enjoy because we can walk away like, whatever. Still love you though.
Yeah. I go, you're nuts. She goes, you're nuts. And I
And
mean,
we're both not.
we have serious disagreements, like on basic fundamental stuff of our basic core belief systems. So I think she's crazy as cat shit, and she thinks I'm crazy as cat shit, and we just do not come to a happy medium. There's no consensus, there's no agreement at all. And I'm okay with that. I think she's nuts. I think she's knucking futs, but I'm okay with that.
And I love you for
And I
that.
don't hold it
Constance.
against you that I think you're crazy as shit.
Listen, but that's the reason that we're so cool.
Absolutely. So we were having a discussion just about kind of what was going on in these streets around, now with the age of information, April, there's so much information that we have access to.
Mhm.
Do you agree? And we've been exposed to so much that the things that we grew up with, today we have access to a little bit more information. And I think with that, so many people are getting woke or an awakening,
Mhm.
right? I even saw Kirk Franklin on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was just talking about the Eurocentric standard of the way that the church is incorrect, and it has us thinking a certain way about heaven and hell and judgment and all of those things. And I think
Mhm.
people are becoming awakened to what's really important, and what's really important is your relationship with God.
Look at God.
period. Right?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times the church gets in the way of that in some instances. And then it's become about a business more so than a relationship. You know, you have to do certain things. Everything's very traditional. I was born and raised in church. I respect the church. I respect the people of the church. I just don't necessarily like the confines of the church. Um, I will still attend church though.
I
Because,
won't.
well, why?
Um, okay. So let me start off by saying, because you know you gave your introduction.
Okay.
Um, so I grew up in the church. I think that the church is awesome, and I think the church is needed for the people that it is needed for, right? Um, but I don't think that the church is teaching us. Are you paused?
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
listening. I am listening intently.
I don't think that the church is teaching us the truth. And so for me to go into a place where I'm having the truth, something that's false constantly put in my head on a consistent basis, I just can't do it.
All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What's false about it? What's fake about what you're learning in
Well,
church?
let's just start with okay. So if we're going to go by the Bible, which I know very little,
At least you
very
admit that,
little.
because some people will say, will tell you about the Bible and quote scriptures, and they don't know
Well,
nothing
they'll
about
quote scriptures that, in fact, I'm not naming names, but one of the people who's on here right now, not me, has done just that. Not me, but I'm not naming names. Not naming. I promise I'm not gonna name no names, Constance. Not. Um, the Bible says in Lithuania 2017.
See, this is why you're going to hell, because you know nothing
I just said it.
about
I said it out loud. But but the Bible
but you were
does.
raised in the church. You were raised
I
in the
was
church.
raised in the church, yes. The Bible does say certain things like when Jesus was born, right? The Bible kind of gives you like time frames.
Okay, I could dig it.
Absolutely nothing to do with December.
Okay.
Um, if we there's an actual documentary out there called The Zeitgeist. If anybody watches, yes, it has been. If anybody has seen The Zeitgeist, put a heart in the comments.
Oh, Zeitgeist. I was always too scared to watch it.
Well,
Zeitgeist.
there's one thing that they talk about that I'm like, when you learn kind of why Christmas is when it is, it has a lot to do with the sun. The sun, so the son of God, right? Hello. And how many days that the sun, quote unquote, goes down. And if you think about, what is it, Good Friday, from Good Friday to Sunday, that is not 3 days, but don't they say 3 days?
On the third day he rose. Friday, Saturday, and on the third day he rose.
Right. Well, but the thing is, if you're saying Friday, come on, son. Come on, son. Come on now. From Friday to Sunday, Friday is Friday to Monday. That's the third day. Am I right?
Okay.
Am I the only one who can't count?
If that's what you're saying. Okay.
I'm just saying, but none of it
your
makes
point
sense.
is, I need you to
My
speak
point
with
is
less
that
words.
none of it makes sense. Everything that they teach us in the church has nothing to do with the Bible.
So let me play devil's
I don't
advocate.
even believe in a lot of stuff in the Bible. It's a whole bunch of stories.
So soliloquies and
Written by man, not God.
Okay, inspired by God, yes. Okay, so let me ask you this. So you say that, just based upon, some of the basic fundamentals of the dates. So I mean, you gonna throw out the baby with the bathwater?
I'm not throwing out the baby because me and the baby are good.
What I'm saying is the same core principles and the foundation of what's in the Bible is still good, yes or no?
I think that, which is one of the reasons why I say that church is very good for who it's good for, right? I will never discount church because church is what keeps a lot of people good and wholesome and positive and whatnot, right? Some people who are going through depression, whatever the case is, I think church is great. However, another No, I don't want to throw. I'm sorry. Let me just go back. No, I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Right? I don't. I think that church is needed, but I just think that if we open our minds and actually pay more attention to what's being taught, um, we would probably be better off if we paid more attention to what's not being taught versus what's being taught.
Ooh, okay.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
I need you to talk. I need you to be very clear on what it is that you're saying. But I get. I'm
That's
reading.
that's what I just did.
I'm
Really
picking up what you're
understood.
putting down. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But I want to make sure everybody really understands what you're saying. Before we like go any further though, I want to make sure that you guys are subscribing to the Fly Nubian Queen. I want to make sure that you guys are subscribing to CC the CEO on YouTube. Please get my subscriptions up. April, where can they subscribe to you at?
Everywhere April Sampay. Also, you can follow me at Ugly Girl Talk.
Ooh, what is
OMG.
ugly? Why would you call yourself ugly?
Oh, honey, because I'm as ugly as they get. Now, listen, we talk about God, right?
Uh-huh.
Me and God are good.
Okay.
Hallelujah, holla back.
Okay.
Ugly stands for understand God loves you.
Wait. So you still believe in God, but you don't believe in the church?
What? Wait.
Don't the two go together?
So, anywho, the sad thing is there are a lot of people out there who do 100% believe that, and some of those people go to the wrong church. I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna leave it right there.
So what does ugly stand for?
Understand God loves you.
So they could follow you on Ugly Girl Talk?
Ugly Girl Talk. We have ugly conversations. They are not all religious. In fact, I don't think any of them have been religious. But it's making sure that you understand how the importance of God. God is in you and God is always around you. So just know that, like, if you are living right, God is going to always have your back. That's my belief. You can have yours. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having a different belief than other people.
Okay. And then you could also follow me on Instagram and I am Constance Carter. Let me ask you this. I had read somewhere or I seen a video maybe years ago. It said religion is regional. It said if you were born in a certain area, you would be this religion. Mm-hmm. So since we happen to be born in this area in North America, around this part of the world, we believe in this because of colonization or whatever. So if we were born in India, we would likely be Hindu or maybe Muslim or Buddhist. If we were born in Asia, we would probably be a Buddhist. If we were born in the Middle East, we may be a Muslim. Mm-hmm. So since religion is regional, mm-hmm. Why do you think some people are so up in arms about their religion being the only true religion? Because it all depends on where you're from and where you're born, right? And so if you were born into the wrong area, does that mean you're going to hell? What about the people who are all the way in the ends of the earth? They still have people who haven't been contacted by current civilization. They are really ancient tribe of people. So are those people born to go to hell? Like, what happens to them?
And if you go to certain churches, they will tell you those people are going to go to hell. In fact, so I'm sorry that I had to laugh at this one. So there was a gentleman, I can't call him a gentleman. There was a guy who was on the news or something like that, who was talking about slavery. And he said that slavery was possibly a positive thing because it got people who were in Africa to believe in Christianity. And so because of that, their lives will be, their afterlives will be saved because they were on that slave ship. So listen, some people actually believe that. And you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not right. I'm not going to look at them in a negative. Well, I'll look at him in a negative way. Let me make that very clear. I'm going to definitely look at him in a negative way. But I'm not going to look at people in a negative way for having that belief. Meaning there are people who believe that if you were Hindu, you're going to hell because, listen, stop.
And listen, I love this. I love this dialogue. I love this conversation. I'm glad. I'm grateful that you guys are all
Yes, I agree.
contributing, because this is really actually really good. A lot of people believe that religion is a man-made construct to keep us in childlike state of fear, subservience, complacency, and submission. Enough is enough. I watched a documentary a while ago on Catholicism, and my daughter and I
Mhm.
were actually having a discussion about this not too long ago, and we were talking about how Catholicism was bred out of control, how to
Mhm.
control the people. Like the way that the Pope had arisen and the church had arisen was to control the masses.
Right.
Christianity is a direct descendant of Catholicism. And
Mhm.
so a lot of people say that Christianity does the exact same thing. Like you were saying, it's a man-made construct to keep
I
us
agree.
in a child state of fear. When you talk about fear and you talk about hell. But do you guys remember Reverend Ike? I mean, Reverend Ike was really popular like back in the 70s. But the thing about Reverend Ike is that people start calling him like a heretic because his teaching has shifted from that fire and brimstone to hell. You don't remember Reverend Ike used to sell his prayer cloths and all that. He was really
No.
popular back in the 70s, but I think he was really before his time. But I'm going to show you a video that I've been seeing floating around a lot about, Reverend Ike, because I'm telling you, people have been so ingrained in the Eurocentric version of Christianity that anything other than what was taught to us out of slavery and all of those things were, shunned. And so
Mhm.
people are and so he was like talking this talk like a long time ago. And so he was like, he's really before his time. But let me just show you guys one of the things that I saw the other day.
By the name of Reverend Ike. We're pleased to be spending the next two segments in discussion with our next guest, whose Eternity Now philosophy is based on the thought that every man is God and the only heaven and hell exist here on earth. Positively Black welcomes Reverend Ike.
Well, thank you, Gus. And I'd like to make just one comment on the statement that I teach that heaven and hell exist right here on earth. Heaven and hell exist in the mind of man. And heaven and hell are movements in the mind of man. And I don't think anyone will argue with the statement that you don't have to die to go to hell, because there's so many people who are in one kind of hell of a fix or another right here, right now. And my philosophy, the science of living, teaches people how to gain self-mastery over the conditions of their lives by believing in themselves positively and correctly, so that you can transform your own hell into heaven.
So what do you think about that, April? What do you think about that thought process about people saying, or Reverend Ike saying that hell is a state of mind? What's your thought about that?
Well, I do believe that, right? I do
Yeah.
believe that. Do I believe that there's a heaven and there's a hell? I don't know.
Physically? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and actually say that I know that, right?
Uh-huh.
But I do 100% believe that how you think on a regular basis, and you are in control of your own thoughts, you can reprogram yourself
Mm-hmm.
to be in hell or be in heaven. You meet people on the street every day who you're like, there's no way they're that happy. And they really are that happy, even though everything around them is falling apart. So,
One of the things, Lolita said the control, double standards, treatment of women, little to no services, judgment, community interest, only if you fit into the community, regardless of your faith. What's funny is my daughter, and at this point, I'm allowing my kids to just kind of have these discussions around what their thoughts are. I always say my youngest son is only saved when I got in the house, because he hang out with my daddy, and he's like, y'all talk about everything else except Jesus. And I'm like, hey, listen, we saved too. But my other kids, they're more free thinkers, or just trying to find their way and figure things out. And so I'm giving them the space and the grace to be able to do that. But one of the things that my daughter was saying was, like, my sister is so religious, but I don't want to say this. I shouldn't say this online. She was saying she's so religious, but she's so miserable. And she was like, why would I want to be a part of something that she's so miserable at? But what makes me want to go over there?
So I have a friend. So I have a friend, right? I have a friend who actually told me that at one time. So she said, life is not about you. Life is about serving God. And so I'm like, okay, well, life can be about serving God. And she was like, so God doesn't care if you're happy or not. And I'm like, pause. Why? You know what I mean? Like, why did God see, what you're telling me is God put me on this planet to be completely and totally miserable. And it's okay. As long as I'm saying, thank you, God. So my life can just be in shambles all the time. And she's like, yeah. And
That's
she
the
believes
thinking.
that.
That's the thinking that kept the slaves slaves.
And that's a mindset that I personally can't have. Now, I'm gonna change the subject just a smidge, because you know how I always like to talk about money.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about one of the things that turned me off about money. So those of you who don't know, I was in banking for 173 years, give or take. While I was in banking, I had a lot of clients that would come in and tell me they have to withdraw all of their funds. They will withdraw their money to give to the church, but not have enough money for them to eat. And what I would ask them, is the church going to give you money so that you would have enough money to eat, or, give you food or take care of you and your rent or whatever? No, I have to do this for the Lord. You're about to be out of a place to live. That's number one. Number two, what a lot of people also don't know is there's specific churches, specific banks that will lend to churches. Now, I've recently found out that this is kind of how a lot of things work when you're a smaller church kind of coming into your own. They will go and borrow money from these specific churches, from these specific banks. And the rule is you have to follow our curriculum, kind of. Same way that it is in schools. So if you want to borrow from us, you have to teach our way.
Oh! So you mean like, so you have like the Southern Baptist, the National Baptist. You have those, and they will fund the churches, but they have this certain doctrine. And I was just actually reading not too long ago about like the Southern Baptists. They were huge proponents of slavery and the enslavement of black people.
100%. But that's
and a lot of our black churches are funded by the Southern Baptists.
Not just black. I mean, I'm sorry to say, like,
no, not just black churches.
This is church.
This is church.
So that's why I just want to make it very clear. But yes, you're right.
What I'm saying is our black churches are funded by this group that was a huge proponent of slavery that are now funding these black churches. Yeah. I do want to follow the money.
Follow the money.
I do want to bring somebody on. We do have a guest, and it's funny because we were having this discussion, and as we were talking about the discussion, I scrolled past her Instagram, and so I want to share with you her Instagram before we bring her on. I hope she doesn't mind if I share with you her Instagram, but it was definitely interesting, and it's something that a lot of people feel, and it's really around church hurt. A lot of people have left the church because of church hurt, and so it's a real thing. Like let me tell you something. I was born and raised in church. Once I came of a certain age, I go to church. I go home. I don't get involved. I ain't part of no leadership. I don't do anything that has to have me volunteering my time and energy and resources for free. Because then you have people, and this has just been my experience. She's saging. Oh, shoot. Oh, the devil. So, and then, but then, then people be fighting over titles and shit. And I'm like, I'm not going to fight these, because that's happened. Y'all fighting over titles because everybody want to be somebody, and y'all ain't nobody getting paid. And I'm volunteering my time, taking away from my family, taking away from my business, and I got to come up here and fight with you over a god dang title. Ain't no way. But a lot of people have gotten involved in church and then have gotten church hurt. And so I thought this was a very interesting part to add to what it is we're discussing, because this is a very real thing. So let me just show her video that I saw on Instagram. Was she like? She
right.
lighting the blunt, listening to gospel music. But I think her point is very valuable in that she said, let's talk about real ass church hurt one time. The shit that's buried, the teachings that are manipulated, the feeling that something wasn't right, the invasive intent, the generational brainwash. Be real. And I refuse to blame anyone in that world, just like I wouldn't blame a happy slave to a master. Ignorance is satisfying, but there is nothing more sweet than knowing it's freedom. There is truth in the lies that are told to us, or else it would not be believable. Oh my God. So this is Miss Morgan J. Morgan J Productions. She's supposed to send me her bio. What's up, Morgan? Lord Jesus. Wait, she's muted. Lord
there I am.
mercy.
Hi.
She got the blunt
Yes.
and the gospel music. And she's talking about church. I'm a little nervous.
I know.
What happened? I don't want you to mention no names. I don't
Yes,
want
ma'am.
you to mention no churches, but I just kind of want to know about what your experience was and why did you choose to post that? What's going on?
The crazy thing is last night I was actually like kind of a little shaky about posting it, and I'm extremely unapologetic. I'll say what I want to because nobody pays my bills but me. And so I don't know why it's crazy that I felt that way, but it's the truth. Like at the end of the day, it's the truth. Like, let's be real. Growing up, being young, growing up in the church, I could blame my mom. I could blame my dad, but how would they know any different from a teaching that their parents had taught them? And we trust these people. And so being taught, though, and knowing that there was a feeling, though, in church and there was something there, that's something I could not ignore. The feelings and the spiritual, the something guiding me or something telling me something, I couldn't ignore that. But the lack of covering in church for kids is ridiculous. The stuff that I've had to deal with, and my mom couldn't cover me because, again, she doesn't know any better. And being a mom now, I get that. If I was brainwashed as to something like that, I would think that putting my kid up as she's pregnant in front of the church to apologize to these people and to put them in a place where I think I was about 17 years old, to have to accept or be looked at as just taking the judgment. Like, it's crazy to me. I would never do that to my kids.
So what happened? You got pregnant at 17?
Yeah, I got pregnant at 17. I'm sure I wouldn't have got pregnant if they taught us about contraceptives and hormones and stuff, but it's so taught that we're not supposed to do it. It's a slap on the wrist, so don't do it. I got pregnant. I was a leader in the church, and I had to go before the church. And this is a very common tradition for us, to go before the church to apologize that I basically sinned against God and that I'm a leader and I am not, supposed to do that.
At
And
17.
and then I'm going to be sat down, and to ask for apology, like ask for forgiveness from the people, as if I needed their forgiveness in the first place. And I stood up there and I had people come up to me and hug me. Oh, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And like having to really be, and I thought that it was okay. I thought that it was like, oh, these people love me. These people love me. They would never. And again, they don't know no better. They don't know no different. When you come out of it, you see that they are so ignorant to these traditions that are taught to us. And I completely agree with you, April. I don't think that there is anything that a white person hasn't given us anything good in the first place. And I do think that there's so many truths in the lies that they tell us, again, or else it won't be believable. But it was so much back to back to back. Even me in my marriage, even me being pushed into my marriage, me being treated a certain way because
back up. Okay,
Yep.
so you got pregnant, and then they made you marry him.
Nope, I got married to a whole different person.
So you got pregnant by somebody at the church.
Yeah.
And then you got pregnant again and married somebody else, or
I got, girls are good. I think, I got pregnant again, and then I ended up getting married to that person.
You pushed into that marriage.
Yeah, I can confidently say that now. Yes.
Okay, I can dig it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they kind of made you get married, and what did that make you do? How did that make you feel? Did you rebelled or?
No, of course not. What? This is like a woman's dream in church. Like, we're getting married. Like, what the heck? Of course I'm happy. I feel so covered and I feel so taken care of. And I didn't pay for anything. Like, they took care of everything. When I say everybody in the church started helping us out, because I'm moving toward marriage and this ideal of what the fuck a woman is supposed to do and a
How old were
mom
you?
and all this.
How
I
old were you?
was shit, not even 21 yet. I was 20.
When you got married?
I was 20 when I got married.
Oh,
Very, very young. We were both leaders in the church. He's a musician,
are
and
you
I
married
was
now?
no.
No. I only asked that question because sometimes it's still hard for people to kind of walk away, even though they know what situation they've been in. So I gotta tell you, like that's awesome that you were able to walk away. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that you're able to see this now. So I'm
That
just saying
took
it's a blessing.
that took some strength to walk away. And I don't think that the church is a place for feminists. So just being who I was inside and what I was trying to fight off in my own personal, I can't even like put it into words how it was making me feel. And I did feel really trapped in my own, like, not knowing who I was. Again, I'm 20 years old, getting married. I have a lot of people in my ear telling me things, how I'm supposed to conduct myself, what my husband wasn't doing at the moment, but what the church was saying is kind of like okay in a way, but I'm supposed to pick up these pieces and reading Proverbs 31. It was a lot. Just being in that standard in church was crazy, and it was invasive all the time. I had no private moments. And it was almost this forced thing to tell them what's going on. And then they're, of course, they're praying over me in the front of the church. I'm crying, and this is almost like a flattering type of thing in the church, like these people, and it disgusts the crap out of me nowadays, to know that I was involved in something like that. When in all actuality, knowing me now, if they would have gave me time to get to know myself, if I would have had the opportunity to get to know me, I probably would not have gone through a lot of the things that I've gone through in my past.
Do you care to share what you've gone through?
I've gone through, well, of course, having a kid early, being married. I've cheated on my husband a lot of times throughout my marriage. Again, I'm hella transparent, so I really I've sat with this stuff, and part of me cares and then part of me doesn't. Like, some stuff is not my fault. I can't keep apologizing for stuff, and I'm not gonna do all that. Anyways, after that, I did leave the church. I've always been like, I loved some of those people in there, but it took me a while to come out of it. And even outside of the church, the way that I'm viewed, the way that I'm looked at, I am extremely free as all get out. And I want everybody else to feel that same type of freedom. So I'm not ashamed of it. And I'm still looked at from people, oh, well, I can't wait for you to get back in church and get saved, or blah, 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 blah. And they don't know me. So they don't know that even when I'm headed to the club smoking, I'm like, I'll be in full worship. The people in the car with me would be in full worship because that's where I'm going. That's what we're doing. Like, it does not matter. I'm not embarrassed or put back. I'll be at the gym almost shouting that he turned it by Ty Tribbett on the treadmill. Like, I'm not worried about what it took a while. I'm not worried about how they perceive me, but what I can tell you is that God's presence, or whatever this entity or spirit or divine or energy, whatever any name they want to put on it, it's this thing that has to be acknowledged,
I agree.
And I couldn't find it in church. I felt it in church. Don't get me wrong. It was there. Something was there, but I think I feel it more outside of church than I have inside of the church. And it just breaks my heart that even my kids, the only reason why I went to church, that video, I had to go to church. My daughter dances at the church. I even asked my mom to come with me, and she was like, for what? Like, no, I'm not ready. Even she's still dealing with her pain. So even when I went, it was hard. It was hard looking at the same people. God, they're so stuck. It almost breaks my heart. They're still having the same problems. They're still in the same pain. Like you said, like they're willing to completely wipe out their bank accounts and not have a roof over their head to invest in something that is not going to give back to them in the way that they really needed to. So it was just disheartening and triggering as ever to be at church with those people.
Can I say something to you about that? Because the one thing that I don't want to turn off, I think that there's so many people out there who do get. I'll use my mother as an example. Okay, my mother goes to a church and they actually do a lot for my mom, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that what they do for her community is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I say what I say. Me, I can't go to church, but that's me. I'm not saying I can't. I can. I'm not going. Right. And I understand you exactly where you're coming from, because you're looking at it like God, what I see as God is not there for me. God is everywhere, but God ain't right there. And even if God was right there, God ain't right there for me. God is here for me.
And I got what I needed from there. And people need to learn to move forward. And you're completely correct. Yeah. People get stuck in the fact it's like getting stuck in a hospital. If you don't take what you're learning from church, because I cannot lie, there are so many things that pray about these things, worry about nothing, and tomorrow has enough problems. The things that I'm constantly, again, affirming, whatever people want to translate it to and whatever religion they are in or spirituality, it's there. But I don't think that we need to get stuck in that. That needs to move forward. And what angers me the most about church is that the community suffers so much because of church, and they should be gaining from the church. And not all churches, you're completely correct. Yeah. Your mother's church is what, they're supposed to be doing. But the churches that I've experienced have monetized off of things and have built a name it's so false. And so church is sometimes needed. It has helped. I cannot lie, but to stay there, I think that it's somewhere to pass through. I don't think that it's somewhere that you need to stay forever.
It's a pass through. So Morgan, does your whole family, are you guys all in the same place with this? Your mom, your sisters, your brother?
We used to all go to church, of course, but none of us actually go to church. My mom goes to a church, but they're pretty much online. They're really like community based, and like certain Sundays are like go out to nature and just, thank God in these ways. And they'll go for a hike and stand next to the ocean. I love that, so not really. We're not really into the religious aspect anymore. And when I say I feel like we used to run the church and we were there every day, so that was a huge turnaround.
Yeah, you guys were super duper involved.
Yeah.
I remember your sister had posted something a while ago, maybe a few years ago, kind of similar to, not with the blunt and all that, but it was something similar to her church hurt experience as well. Mm-hmm. And her and I talked offline about it, and I just share, like, for me, I love God.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily love going to church, and the church that I went to out there, I love the pastor. I love the first lady. When I tell you, they are like the awesomest people in the world. They are wonderful, the bomb, from what I know. And, their son who passed away was like a brother to me. That was my boy. Now he was my brother. I love them. I just, I didn't really go because I don't really care. It wasn't that church in particular. It's just the idea.
The idea, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. It nothing to do with that church in particular, but
it's the idea of church. It's the idea.
It's not even them. Mm-hmm. It's everything else. You know what I'm saying? They're so great, but it was just everything else. And it was sort of a it was a little bit of a turnoff to me. Again. Not them in particular, but a lot of the things that you see. And this is every church that I've been to now. I was born and raised in church my whole life. And like I said, I never got in, I stopped getting involved because of what I seen behind the black curtain.
Yeah.
It's worse behind the black curtain.
Girl.
But listen, even in this motivational space, I've been around a ton of thought leaders. that have the same kind of effect.
Mm-hmm.
Behind a black curtain is raggedy. So it's not just in church. It's these people who have this gift of gab and control, and who have the ability to, transform and change people's minds and, speak into people's lives. They be raggedy as shit. And so I'm like, I just like, so I step back from that.
That's all you can do though. Sorry. That's all you can do, because again, still believing in my foundation. It's like God will deal with some of that stuff. That's between you and the Lord. And you're right. I can't cross paths. I'm not trying to be all involved, and I don't want to seem like it's acceptable by having my presence there. And so I'm very much so finicky about that now, and surroundings. And the church has taught me that. Like some of the things that I stand on, church has taught me to judge people by the fruit that they bear, and I do so, reaping and sowing, all those different things. So it's where I am in my life right now. I feel like even when I did go back to church, it was just like, dang, we talking about the same thing. Like I've actually implemented some of these things in my life, and we can move forward. Like, what's next? How do we? I don't know. And I love the Bible. Don't get me like. I love the Bible for what it is. And again, April, I've been listening to you the whole time. You're my type of person. The Bible is full of stories, and it's good stories, stuff that I could watch on TV, like Greenleaf. You feel me? But
there's things that can possibly even change it. I mean, just think about it, right? Because Constance is like, you want to throw away the baby with the bathwater. Meaning, I'm that person who's just like, yeah, that's not where I belong, right? Yes, all of the stories, for the most part, they might be very, very good, and they might teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
But to Constance's point, you can go and listen to a great motivational speaker that will motivate the hell out of me. And the next day, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to change.
And them niggas raggedy too. Trust me, I know.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you go, because here's the thing. So Constance speaks, right? I sing. I have gone to places where they have very, very, very famous church singers, gospel.
Yeah.
We're going to go with gospel. The word is gospel.
Such a heathen. Lord forgive her, bless her, anoint her.
Hallelujah, Lord. But they will have gospel performers, and you see some of the things that happen behind the closed doors, and I'm like, oh, is this what we're doing?
Oh, girl, let me tell you something. And this is what turned me off. Okay, so I used to be in a choir when I was a teenager. A big community choir. We used to win these, McDonald's Gospel Fest and all this stuff. Like, we were deep in church. Like, we was in church. We would be shouting. We teenagers. We shouting. I'm playing the bass. Right? We shout. We having a good old church time. We go back to somebody's house. They bring out the spades. We drinking, smoking weed. Somebody in the back having sex. We go to a gospel music workshop of America. I'm 18. It's in Atlanta. All kind of Sodom and Gomorrah shit was going on over there, and all kind of just craziness, ungodliness. And it'd be those places. And that's the reason why, for me, I just like kind of step back, because it taints, that barrier of the church. It taints the clear and the pure relationship, the godly relationship that I feel that is what's necessary. It just gets in the way of, that's been my experience.
Out of all people, you especially because you played bass, Constance, I bet you saw.
Oh, I seen some shit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Oakland, California. And that was, you got to remember, that used to be the gospel central back in like the 70s and the 80s with the Hawkins family and all that stuff. Shit.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, Going Up a Yonder and all of them songs that Walter Hawkins. Yes, that came out of Oakland, California. But you go there, it's like, I don't want to, you go to them churches out there, and it's something strange. I remember. Let me tell you this one story. It's funny. We used to, like I said, we were so sold out as teenagers. We used to go to church on Saturday, we used to go up there to Oakland, to church. and it just be all kind of just foolishness, foolery, tomfoolery. This Negro walks in, some little sweet dude walks in, sits on the front row, nigga. Remember them pants Prince had when he had his ass cheeks out? Nigga, this nigga walked up in the front row of the church with his ass cheeks out.
You know what? The church welcomes is supposed to welcome everyone.
That he was advertising.
I'm just
So-
saying that he was the church should have said
He was advertising.
You should
He
not have
was
no
letting them know. You know, he was
I
letting.
had my first kiss in the church.
Oh yeah. I probably said the N word too much. I didn't mean to say that. It just came out. I normally don't say that, but I couldn't. It just went with the story. My bad. Excuse me, people. But yeah, just going back to that, it just brought back memories because we should just go to places like that just to laugh because it was just all kind of foolery. Now, this is not a place that you should be going to. I mean, we're teenagers. We're 16, 17 years old. You know, we thinking we sold out for Christ and we're going, and this is the stuff that we're being exposed to.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that my daughter, we talk about this all the time, and she went to a Christian school. You know, she was raised deep in church, and I used to watch my child. I used to watch her just be so enveloped and vast and, you know, and listening. But she was saying that, you know, just like you, Morgan, those were some of the worst times in her life. That's where she got bullied a lot. That's where she, you know, just learned like a lot of things not to do. And then a lot of kids that she went to church with are like wild, are like
wild. Okay.
Yeah.
The people in the church are the most wild, and they need to dismantle those standards. I think because it is taught to, like, I have kids now. Okay. So I have daughters. I'm going to be real, just not too explicit, but explicit enough. Okay. Sex is sex. Okay. Like, let's be real. First of all, I don't know why God gives us these crazy hormones at such a young age. Like, let's be real on that one. Okay, it's hard to manage as adults having hormones, let alone being. My daughter's 10 and she just now started her period. Okay, 10. So there's going to be a point in time where she's like, "Oh my God, my body's just, you know, I'm so hot and heavy. I'm so hot and heavy." I don't want her to get pregnant. I don't want her to have sex with nobody or nothing. What is my approach on this? People could disagree with me or whatever. I'm going to teach my daughter the art of masturbation due to the fact that I don't want her to feel like she needs to go out. Deal with your hormones right here. Know your body and understand it instead of being slapped on the wrist that you can't do this, you can't do nothing. This is a crazy feeling, you know, when you're young. And
wait, how do you teach a child the art of masturbation?
I'm not gonna sit there and do it for her, you know, but I am gonna tell her, like, you can touch yourself if you're feeling this way. This is how. And your body's going to start to feel, of course, I'm new to this, so I'm no pro. But in my head as a mom, this is how I would teach her, and just letting her know that this is what happens to your body. And if you're feeling these urges, instead of you going to somebody else or feeling like you're the little boy who likes you or whatever, know that you're horny at the moment. And you might need to deal with that before you make a decision. Why? Of course, I got 3 kids, you know, by different dads and stuff. I don't want her to go have sex, but I don't want her to be as ignorant as I was either in school. And I'm not about to judge her for feeling horny or for being a woman with hormones or any of that. And yeah. I think that the teachings in this fucking high pedestal of what we're supposed to do would not have, if we didn't have to do that, it wouldn't have the effect of the people in church walling out or doing this and doing that every opportunity that they get due to the fact that it's deprived and we were told not to, and that it's the worst thing in the world. When they don't know anything, let them make that choice, but also game your kids up. Let them know certain areas you shouldn't be in. You might get killed. It's your life, but, you know, do it if you want to. But it becomes this one extreme or the other type of thing.
Right. And
it's not fair.
There's no happy medium. It seems to be no happy medium. Now there are this is not a broad brush that we can paint on all churches, because I think there are churches that do a lot of community work, and I also, you know, for particular churches, I think it's just certain people that work inside the church that could actually ruin it for the, you know, for the entire church. So it may not be the intent of the leader to, you know, have that trickling down that way. However, people can ruin. I remember when my kids were really young, And I would make sure that I sent them to children's church all the time. And one day my kids came home scared because they were taught that they were going to hell, that the end of the world was coming. They talked about revelations and all that stuff. My kids were crying. My kids were literally crying. They were tiny. They were literally crying.
Yeah.
And I had to call the first lady. I was like, yo, y'all can't be teaching this to my kids. This is not okay. My kids are scared. They're scared to go back to church. Like, they can't teach this. And she was very empathetic. I don't know if she talked to the teacher, but like, I don't want my kids to go to church to be scared. That. So I don't believe that was the intent of the leadership. I just think the person who was in charge of the kids didn't teach them the right thing.
Did they recently build a part of like the back of the church? Did they get like a new wing or something like that around that time? Was money borrowed? I'm just asking.
Why?
I can't stand you, April. I cannot stand you.
Why did you say that?
I'm just asking because I'm wondering, did they borrow some money, and that's the reason why they had to start teaching that to the children at that time? I'm just asking for a friend. Did something happen where they needed some money for the building? All of it.
Girl.
I'm just asking for a friend. No, y'all, church in some places, church can be amazing. You know what I mean? Church can be great. And church is for who church is for.
Yeah.
And I think that, well, I'll say this, Morgan, you were saying that your mom goes to, is told that sometimes they can have church outside through meditation, right?
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, that's something that they need to teach to children. That's what, if we're going to start teaching who God is, let's start through meditation.
Girl, they were against meditation. They were against that. That cross indoctrinating stuff was a problem. Like, that's witchcraft.
That is a problem. I mean, why
That's
can't
crazy.
you? So actually sitting alone with your thoughts is crazy. That is
people don't know what meditation is, because
That
meditation,
part,
they thinking that you like praying to a false god.
No, you're just sitting alone and quiet. You can actually. Is that your cat?
Oh yeah, she's crazy.
Oh no. Oh, that's your. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Constance's cat has a problem. And I don't know if y'all heard her cat. I'm sorry.
She's in heat real bad. She's in heat really bad right now, and I'm just getting ready to put her up in Kael's room.
Lord. Okay.
What were you saying? I liked what you were saying. Where were you going?
I just feel that we need to start our children with meditation and teach our children how to get in their own mind for a few reasons. Number one, our children don't know how to manage their emotions.
Agreed.
And I say our children. Guess who has none? Me. So if anybody wants to say, "Oh, you ain't even got no kids," don't. But guess what I have? Nephews, nieces. I have children that are always around me, and I notice that the ones who sit in meditation and can be alone with themselves, and I'm not saying the child who has to be alone with themselves because they don't know how to function. I'm saying a child who is able to calm themselves.
Yeah.
You're having a bad day? Let's talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what I want you to do is I want you to breathe in and out and function and go through your emotions right now. Go through them as opposed to getting over whatever it is that you're going through, right? Go through it so that you can come out a better person. That's what they're not teaching the children. That's what they need to be teaching them, as opposed to you going to hell.
Yeah. Or to constantly be in this position of feeling bad for yourself or constantly apologetic.
Right.
That is another problem for me.
In the Catholic religion, so my family is both sides, right? So my father's side is Catholic, my mother's side is AME, right?
Okay.
My mother's side, go there for the music. The music will get you all the way right. However, on my father's side, you would go so that you can have a drink of wine.
Okay.
But on the Catholic side, what they do teach you is that you always are guilty. And so you always have that guilt. And you always feel like you need to do something to be better. And I'm like, wait, when are you enough? That's the reason why many people who have problems, because they never feel like they're enough.
Yeah.
And to your point, April, you know, we were taught that we were wretched souls that weren't worthy, that only because God, I'm not worthy. We praying at the altar, God, I'm not worthy. God, I'm not worthy. And it's like, no, you are. And so I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that ideal that we're not enough, that we're not worthy, that we're just little, what they call a wretch like me. I'm not a wretch.
Well,
I am great.
so y'all have children. Y'all have children, right?
Yes.
Do you ever tell your children that they're not worthy?
No.
Why is it? See, this is the part that I can't get with. And so that's the reason why I feel the way I feel. God is my father, right? God created me. If it were not for God, I would not be here. So can we all agree? Do we agree?
Amen.
My father, who is the sperm that was used to create me, who I look just like, who I love dearly, and my mother, who I love dearly, would never look at me and say, you know what, you're not enough. You know, you're not worthy of being here. So why would I believe that he who created everything is going to say, you know what? I created you and you're not enough. No. And so that's how I feel like, no, I am worthy because I am the child of God.
But do you see how that's part of the mind control?
That is.
Do you see how that's part of the mind control of I'm not worthy. I need this in order to control and guide me so that I will stay and do these certain things. I'm threatened with hell so that I won't think freely about anything outside of the confines of what I've been taught. And when I think about, you know, and so I'm not speaking for myself, but I'll say this. I have heard of, let me tell you this. Let me go back. At my sister's super religious. My dad's a minister. And so they all, my mom, dad, stepmom, they all have Bible study every week that I didn't go to when I was there. And so my daughter had a book called The Book of Joy. It was Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama sitting on the counter. The Book of Joy. How to achieve joy. And you know, I always get questioned if I believe in Jesus. They always question me. They said, "Do you believe in Jesus? You believe Jesus is your Lord and Savior? Do you believe that Jesus is your Lord and Savior?" I get questioned a lot because they think I'm a heathen. So they were like offended and appalled that she had this book of joy with the Dalai Lama. And they were going in. And so they were like going, and I was like, so I'm defending her. They going in on both of us. Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Nita, do you believe? And my cousin was like, whoa. She had to interject. She was like, this is the reason why people don't want to go to church. They don't want to be hearing this. This is the Book of Joy. This child is trying to figure out how to achieve ultimate joy. Bishop Desmond Tutu is actually a Christian. The Dalai Lama, he might be a Buddhist, but it's about the coming to a place of joy.
But even in Buddhism, they actually don't care what religion you are.
And Buddhism is not about a religion.
It's not a religion, yeah.
No, but they don't understand that because they be in church. They be like, it ain't Allah. Well, Allah is just another name for God. It ain't Buddha. Like that. Y'all just so ignorant and uneducated that y'all say anything and everybody's shouting to it. It's like, no, this is not even what that is. But to the point is that we've been so conditioned to just think this certain way. And, you know, they say, well, you know, they said there's going to be a great falling away. And so that's how we can't look at anything else because we know, you know, the Bible says it's going to be a great falling away. There's going to be people, it's going to be false prophets, it's going to be this and that. That's how we kind of keep you confined and controlled because we don't want you to think anything else. We don't want you to read anything else. We don't want you to see anything else. But now you look at it historically, never mind. I ain't gonna go there.
We don't know. This is none of us know. None of us. I'm sorry. Did we lose her? None of us. she'll be back. She coming back. None of us know what tomorrow brings. You know what I mean? None of us know what happens once we pass away. None of us know that. So the one thing that we have to do is protect ourselves and live the best way that we can possibly live. You know what I mean? So if you want to go to church, go to church. But all I can say is live right.
That part.
Live right. Like, what I'm not gonna ever say, and I'm saying this again, going back to my banking days. Do not give all of yours so you can't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Protect yourselves. Take care of yourselves. And I mean that spiritually, mentally, financially, any other lead that is out there, take care of yourself. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you, let's talk about some of the ignorant shit we used to hear at church during testimony time.
Let us.
The devil cut off my utilities.
But not you not paying your bill, right? I'm just asking for a friend.
It was the devil cut off my utilities.
I'm just asking for a friend. Come on, keep coming with him because I wasn't there. Go ahead.
The devil got me fired from my job.
Oh, so it wasn't your attitude or your lack of work or work ethic.
It was the devil. The devil made me cheat.
The devil
on
made
my
you
wife.
cheat. Not your penis. Your penis had nothing to do with it.
It was the devil.
Whoa! What did I just come in on?
We were just talking about the ignorant shit that we hear at testimony time. So the first one was the devil turned off my utilities.
Not the fact that you ain't pay your bill.
I've heard that. I've heard it.
Yeah, the devil. What was the other one?
The devil made me cheat.
The devil made me lose my job.
Made me lose my job.
Listen, God made me win the race. God made Mike Tyson win that fight. God made the 49ers win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Did the 49ers win the Super Bowl?
But back in the 80s when they did, or the 90s when they did, it was God.
Hey, y'all don't start. Don't start.
God had all these people died, but God saw fit because everybody got shot. But my baby, God saved my baby, but he made the other ones die.
Listen, all I can just live right. Live right. That's it. Like that's all I got. Like,
girl,
I'm one of those people who I will give you all of the clothes off my back. I will give you any and everything. It's not because God told me to. It's because I want to be of service. That's me. That's how I live, right?
Yeah.
But what I won't do is give you. I've given people, like, somebody say, I like that bag. The next day I come in, I clean out the bag, I give it to you, right? Well, then you see me the next day, you say, oh, I like that bag. I'm not giving you the bag the next day. No. And it's not, I gave it to you because I wanted you to have that. Not just because I'm going to give you everything I have. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got to look out for me.
And you know that it goes back. This is one thing I told my dad a long time ago, because my dad used to give, he'd be like, we couldn't pay no bills, but we paid our tithes, and then the Lord made a way.
That's my mom.
But one thing I would tell my dad, and he was like, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. My dad's mother, up until a few years ago, lived in a shack. I wish I could show you the picture of this house. And I'm going to be going to her house at the end of the month.
How are you going?
I have to. But it's like a slave quarter. It is about 500 square feet. The roof is caved. I mean, she lived here up until a couple of years ago. My dad bought her some land and he put a trailer on there, like a double wide, like he, now she's doing good, but it took her she's 90. Like, she's lived like that all her years. She just turned 90 something, and she's lived like that for 80 something years, like a slave. Like, literally her house is like a slave. Y'all don't hear me, literally. And I used to question my dad. I'm a teenager. You giving all this money to the church, but your mama living like a slave. Don't you think you should be taking care of your mama with that money?
And what did he say?
Well, that's when, I wasn't a teenager. I was grown, but that's when he went and did what he did and bought it and put that house together.
It took you having that conversation?
Yeah. My dad listens to me. for the most part. If you knew we was having this conversation, I would be in trouble right now.
I am sending it to him.
You
as soon
better
as
not
he-
tell my daddy. You better not
I'm
tell my
weak.
daddy.
Petty,
But
petty.
I mean, but that's the problem.
Well, we're
One of the
strong
things
about it.
I just remember having conversations with people who saying, I was so caught up in working for the church. Working for the church. I forgot working for the church. I neglected my family. I
Mhm.
neglected my kids. My kids around here acting a damn fool. Pastor don't care as long as we come and we work for this church. I remember this lady told me that a long time ago. She was like, and I was a child. I was maybe a teenager. She said, don't ever get so caught up in church where you get to neglecting your family. My dad, when I was growing up, he had it all. He had the game all messed up because it was like when he got saved when I was 7. So when he got saved, it was like God in church, God, church is the same. Then my kids, then my job, my wife is somewhere down there. So when she left, then, and it wasn't until I got grown and married and I had my first child, I actually went to a church where I was taught the proper order of how things are supposed to go. Yeah, God's supposed to be first, but your wife, your spouse is second, your family, and then like your ministry, because you can't be effective in your ministry if your house toe up.
Right,
a lot of these churches don't teach that because they want people to help with their kingdom building, help with the building fund, help with all the things that needed to work this church, and they don't care about the families. That's the real problem I have.
I remember being hungry when we were younger, and this is when we were at the same church. This is when we were younger, but my mom hadn't been working, and so I remember our church, of course, every January went through tithes and offering. It was this huge thing all the time, making sure we had our finances and stuff. It was a huge. I feel like I went to I call it corporate church. I went to a business type church. I have a business mindset because I went to that church. And so they taught a lot about finances. And so my mom always felt very ashamed because we were poor. We were definitely poor. And it's crazy because it took a while. Anyways, I remember being hungry because all we got were food stamps and we paid the rent. My mom got food stamps, paid the rent. We had bare minimum. It was 4 of us. I remember being hungry because my mom would go buy the food for the church because she felt so guilty in not being able to give tithes as an ordained minister or elder. So she would give the food that we had to the church and put it in the kitchen so she could, that was her way of paying tithes, basically. And it was accepted. It wasn't, yeah. Yeah.
I have a friend who that's very sad. And I feel bad that you guys had to go hungry.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm alive,
Look at God.
But that could be damaging. That could definitely be damaging, and that could, build some kind of resentment.
Oh, it did. All of us. It took us ages. Still, we had to forgive our mother over putting the church before us. There were times where I had basketball games, and she would be at church. I would be going through on my own teenager things and whatever, and she would send other people to help me. She wouldn't necessarily be there because she was being put on by church. And again, I like I said in the beginning, can't blame her too much because she was on that one extreme of like how your dad, once we got in church, that was it. That was it. She didn't know if she slipped in any type of way, she felt like she would have went back to the way she was. So it was her saving grace, and it gave her the discipline that she needed, but the mindset, again, that the brainwash and the everything that she believed and that she really brought home to us. And I never experienced my mom cussing. I never experienced my mom dating. Even my mom calling me now and we're talking about sex toys and stuff because she's curious. She doesn't know anything.
God dang. Sound like me.
It's crazy to me.
Don't look like that, April. I'm experienced. Go ahead.
But it took a while for her to come out of it, and I thank God for the freedom that she has now, and all of the money she's able to make.
Amen.
We're not poor anymore, she won't go back to church, but my mom is extremely spiritual. Jesus, she's still extremely spiritual. But now she makes over her 6 figures. She stays in her lakeside
Good for
apartment by
her.
herself, and
Good
she's
for her.
traveling back and forth all the time. She still has her struggles. My mom still is scared to tell her dad about the man that she's been seeing, and my mom is like 50 plus. She's like, your grandpa doesn't know I'm making a plate for her. I'm like, Mom, like,
I
you know,
love it.
but back in the day, that type of stuff isn't acceptable. And because he's supposed to know who she's talking to. Is this the type of man and stuff? So,
But that's one of the reasons why you can never, and this is one of the things that I always talk to people about. You can never not blame, hold on to how your parents were when you were younger, because they didn't know any better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times they just don't know any better. And
Yeah.
so if you want the blessing of it all is that she is not that same person.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that tunnel vision. And it's a blessing. I personally look at that as like, wow, that is awesome. Because you have so many people that are like, this how I always been. I can't change. Hold on, pause, boo-boo. You're the only one who can change yourself. Can't nobody else change. So the fact that she took it upon herself to change herself and make herself better and learn what she needed for herself, that is a blessing. It's a lot of people that will hold on to the way that their parents treated them and say, well, this is who I am. This is my life. I can't ever have any better. My life is just fucked up. No.
Right.
And so I'm glad that, number one, you didn't. And I'm glad that she didn't. This is.
But Lita, Baby Doll said, being hungry in church is hard enough. Being hungry in church and watching your food be given away. Right? And watching your food. We hungry. Our ribs.
We have no anger toward it. I think the beauty in being completely ignorant is the bliss. So we thought that it was the right thing to do. And there were people who were able to eat because of it. Do I think that we should have sacrificed everything that we had? No, I don't. And I can talk about all the ins and outs of church and how they are nonprofits, how they are able to attain funds, how they are able to have resources to where it doesn't have to come out of the people's pocket in order to provide for the community. And it didn't have to happen. But in her mind, in her intentions, she thought that it was right and that it was the best thing to do. And we had to forgive her. And she had to forgive herself. You know, we don't want to continuously do that thing over and over again that the church has taught us to do, which is feel guilty about everything all the time. You did it wrong, whatever, move on, we're alive.
And that's good that you guys can forgive. Because sometimes people be in their 40s and they don't be forgiving their mom and them. Just like April said, they still holding on to the shit that happened when they was children. But to piggyback on what you said, I have a good girlfriend. She was like, both of her parents were pastors. Dad died and then her mom was a pastor. She said, Constance, we were in church so much, people coming in the house, and everything was about church 7 days a week. We had no time to ourselves. Everything was invasive. And when they grew up, all of that, you grow up, her brother ends up getting murdered. He's in gangs. You know, I don't know what her other siblings are doing, but she's just like, I don't even go to church. She's like, I love God, but I don't go to church because it destroyed our family. And it just, it's just unfortunate. And that's not what is designed to do, of course, obviously, right? I think people can just overdo it and become fanatics and forget what's important. Again, it wasn't until I got grown and gone that I was taught that you cannot be effective in your ministry if your family is toe up. That has to be a priority. You can't do all this other stuff and neglect. I remember seeing this.
Isn't that kind of anything? Like, it's not just,
you got to take care of home first.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people are talking about now, more so. Like, so many people have cancer, so many people are dying now, and realizing on their deathbed, I should have spent more time with my family and doing for my family versus giving my whole life to this job or whatever. And I understand that you and your family need to eat, but now you're in your deathbed and ain't nobody eating.
What do you have to, what do you have to show for it? What do you really have to show
for it?
for it? And you know, I remember seeing this pastor, he was having some personal issues with his wife.
Mhm.
He said, I got to take a sabbatical. I can't continue to reign over this church. That's integrity to me.
That's a church that people should be going to.
Yeah, that's integrity.
There you go.
Because people be so caught up in, you know, getting this money. So let me ask you guys this.
Oh,
What
wait,
do you-
I'm happy you said it because integrity is a huge thing. I think that needs to be taught probably more than anything. What you do when nobody's looking, that is very, very, very important. That will help with even you being a teenager and people going out after church when nobody's watching. Like, what is your relationship? Also, another thing that they need to learn is boundaries. I don't think I need to explain myself and everything. If he needs to take a sabbatical because he's going through this with his wife, honestly, he should just be upset. I'm taking a sabbatical, period, point blank. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. And it's only, and I only say that I'm going to take a sabbatical due to the fact that I'm a leader and I'm not going to be here in my absence. Other than that, I don't need to explain anything to anybody. And so I think that the church has an issue with being so invasive. Well, what happened? And because their intentions seem so pure, you almost feel compelled to tell, but there is no purpose in telling them and setting those healthy boundaries. They get upset when those boundaries are put there because they don't like them. But those boundaries are for is for those people who don't like them, who feel like they need to be, everything needs to be explained to them when it's not your life.
When it ain't your business, that part. Let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think about this shit right here? Hey. Okay. Hey. What y'all think?
I think that hallelujah.
I think why go to the club? But wait, this is what I want to know. How does everybody in the church know how to swag surf? Because everybody at the church be at the club. Nobody did not know how to swag surf.
I think that they need to. I don't know. I think they need to dismantle the barrier of secular and gospel. Like, it crosses over too much, and just hold the teachings up to a standard. I don't mind it at all, honestly. I'm for it. Have fun, as long as the teachings are being taught. Other than that, I can't.
So I hear you. I do.
I don't know if I would go. I'm not going to say that. I'm definitely a little bit more traditional. So yeah, I don't know.
Listen, like I hear you. And somebody said that they would go. I hear you, even though I read it.
I'm just gonna go to the club. Why go to church? No, but here's the thing. Okay. I remember when I went to a church when I was a teenager. I used to love this pastor. He was one of the dopest pastors. And he used to do they used to do this is way before your time, Morgan. So functified, but they changed the words to so sanctified, right? So like, if you don't do that, you know, don't, because I think they talking about drugs in the beginning of that song. So don't play that in church.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the reason why I have an issue with it, because if that's why I say I hear you. But when you listen to certain words of the song, and I'm that person who I'm very into what the words mean.
Listen, I'm on hypnotic, exotic, this polo on my body. Got a bad girl beside me and her friend right behind me.
What song is this?
I'm swag surf.
Right.
I don't know swag surf. Listen, I think I'm really in the bubble.
Oh, you don't go out. Oh, they played that. They play it every time I go out. I mean, I'm at the club. So this is what I hear.
That's my point. That's why I'm like, no. I mean, I'm just, it's just, There's one thing I'm gonna go back a little bit.
This
Is
is-
The
that
devil
yeah.
made him do it. Wait, the devil made him do it.
You know what? I agree with you guys because there's certain effects that music and certain things have on you that shouldn't. It's appropriation. That's
100%?
yeah.
Baby,
I don't know.
did you hear the person who said I didn't see a problem since it was New Year's Eve? Did you hear the lyrics? I'm on hypnotic, exotic, this polo on my body.
Shut up, April.
Pants
No,
I
that
pop
was
off in the
it.
club with a pocket full of bands. Big stupid fresh like wrapped up in saran.
Ugh.
I'm swag. I'm surfing. I'm swag. Yeah. So nigga, I'm Ralph Lauren mascot. Cake on debit. So yeah, I'm on hypnotic. So this is not a song for the church, sweetheart. So you think that that's appropriate to have inside the church? I didn't think about that. That makes sense. Concept. I just listen. I just wanted to clarify because maybe you just didn't know what the lyrics were because I didn't know. All I know is I'm swag.
That's actually my point. When it comes to music, I'm gonna tell y'all about music. I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but I'm a singer. And when
Oh,
you
Morgan is too.
come through, Morgan, yes, we got singers in the building.
Oh, we got a whole band. We got Constance on bass.
We just got music
go.
right around here.
Let's go.
The thing that people don't understand is
Mhm.
how serious those vibrations are. And if you notice when they have certain songs that come on, and okay, so I'm from the DMV area, okay? Rough it off, rough it off.
What does
What
that mean?
more can I say? Rough it off.
What does that mean? And what is that song?
It's a song that when that song came on,
Is that a go-go song?
it is a go-go song. When that song
love
came
go-go.
on, everybody's roughing it off. Okay. And I mean, people are hitting each other, and a fight might break out because you done roughed it off just a little bit too much. There was another song that was not a go-go song.
By the Backyard Band?
Huh?
By the Backyard Band? Rough it off?
Yeah.
This?
Because no one can hear you. No one can hear it. But
Was that Rough
everybody,
It Off?
no one can hear it.
Oh.
Wait, no, Rough It Off is Rare Essence.
Oh, this is Junkyard Band.
No, hold on.
Wait. Oh, you couldn't hear it?
No. That's
Oh.
JYP? This is sad because I don't remember, and I'm 5,000 years old. And I now live in Augusta. So anybody,
Yeah, you're so.
I'm
out
sorry,
of
y'all. I'm so and that song came out back in the 1900s.
This one right here.
Georgia.
Was that it?
Yes,
Rough It Off.
Good song.
that was Rough It Off. My bad, everybody. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to apologize to my DMV family for not remembering that was Junkyard.
Oh, you will get stabbed out here not knowing.
No, that's why I'm so sorry. And listen,
We was just talking about that this morning because you said
it's been 573 years since I've lived in the DMV. Also,
he's
What
only
is
been
up with
gone for
these
2 years, but
I've been gone for 3
they're
years.
real serious. We were just talking about that. They're real serious about go-go out here. It's not.
And so I apologize to my people. Forgive me, and I love y'all.
Go-go was a very serious thing.
Go-go is magically delicious, blessed, and highly flavored. My point is,
You got to know it, but it's fun.
my point is that if somebody played that in the church, somebody would get roughed off. So you got, but there's another song that, oh my God, that it's another song that I swear every time it would come on in the club.
Overnight Scenario.
No. There was it wasn't. I'm not talking about a go-go song. I'm talking about like a regular, like old school hip hop song. Whenever that song would come on, everybody would be like, "Yo, we about." Anyway, yes, frequency is everything. Your vibrations will be. I mean, if you think about it, so there was a video that I saw not too long ago, and they said how certain vibrations can actually turn your car into liquid, right? I mean, of course, that's a bit extreme, but it showed how the vibrations, the music was so loud that the windows and the metal was actually moving on a level that you can't see with the naked eye. But when they slowed it down, the car looked like metal. That was the vibrations of the song.
Wow.
What is our body made out of? Our body is made of how much water,
Liquid.
right?
Yeah.
If you think we are constantly vibrating, right now our bodies are vibrating because you hear what I'm saying and because I'm saying it. Our bodies are vibrating on certain frequencies. When you hear some of those songs, when they are in church, they should not be in the church. No, because they change your mindset.
They do.
You know what I mean? I know that when I am in one of those moods where I'm just like, anybody can get it. If I play a song and that song says anybody could get it, anybody could get
Everybody getting effed up. Okay. But you're not gonna play "Take Me to the King."
No,
right? Because when you
take it one step further, has anybody seen what's that movie? They clone Tyrone. Bam. They put it out there for everybody.
Don't tell me. I haven't finished watching it yet.
Oh, you've never seen it? Okay. So anybody who's seen they clone Tyrone, y'all know that there's, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to say what happens, but there's a part in the movie where they actually talk about how music affects you. So when you see the whole movie, pay attention to that part. What you put in your body food-wise, what you put in your body ear-wise, what you put in your body, what you see. Why is it that we're not paying attention to what we're putting in our body? One of the reasons, sorry, I'm all over the place, and I'm allowed to be because I'm me. One of the reasons that I went back to my vegan diet is because what I was putting in my body changed the vibrations of my body to create tumors, right? I got tumors all over, got tumors. So I had them before. I was able to shrink my tumors based on the foods that were going in my body.
Yes.
Why is it that we can't change what we listen to, what we see?
Your mindset. This is the reason why I listen to motivational things in the morning, because I'm priming and I'm conditioning my mind to reset my day.
Who are you listening to it? Who would you? Because I'm wondering, are you listening to the heathens?
No, not you. Oh, you mean the mother Negroes that I know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, listen, the God ordained an ass, and the ass can speak into your life, so it don't even matter. But to MySpace's point, he said, I think people just go to church because they're scared to go to hell, but that don't mean it. I pray at home and get the same results, and I don't read the Bible, and God still gives me support. And I think that's so true for so many people, is that we're scared. I remember just being scared to say certain things because I didn't want to go to hell, or saying certain things out loud. I remember when my girlfriend, she Black, and she told me, my girl Essence, she told me she didn't believe in God, and I was like, and I was waiting on a lightning to strike her down, like,
okay, blasphemy.
You Black and you don't believe in God? And she, she was so used to, she's from the Midwest. She lived in Stockton, but she's so used to people like looking at her like she got 3 heads on her, so it don't even bother her. But it's just like that scared me initially. Like, oh my God, because your initial thought is you going to hell, right? I don't believe there's a God. Now, I'm not saying that. This is what she said. I was just like.
But did you hear yourself? I don't believe that. I'm not saying anything negative about you, Constance, but I'm just saying in general. Like a lot of people, I didn't say that.
Because that's what we've been taught. We're scared to say anything. And this is what I'm telling you. I'm scared to say anything because that's how I've been conditioned.
When I named my company Ugly, do you know how? And I explained to people what it means. How many people look at me like, "What is wrong with you? Why would you even do that? Why would you put ugly and God together?" And I'm like, because so many people have been called so many negative things. I'm trying to change the vibration of the word ugly. I'm trying to change the vibration of something so negative and so hurtful and put love into it so that you can start looking, so you can see the God in you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, change your mindset. Change your life.
Right.
It's so funny. And Constance and I talk about this on a regular basis, how much, and I'm just putting Constance out there. I feel like Constance has positively changed my life, right? I remember we were having a conversation years ago. We haven't known each other that many long
But
years.
it feels like we have.
Shit.
It's crazy.
So
Because we talk like all day, every day.
I don't talk to anybody as much as I talk to this human. Anyway, I digress. So
Don't be telling people that. I might get in trouble. Some people
you
might.
probably would. But I say all that to say, I remember there was a time I was going through a lot. I was going and I'm very private. Like, I'll tell you what I want you to know. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny because Constance I don't think she knew that I was going through something at the time. And so I'm like, yeah, so, what does your day look like? Like, what does your day look like? And she goes, oh, well, I guess I meditate every morning. I do this and I work out, blah, 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 blah. And I stopped to think like, yo, I used to meditate all the time. I stopped meditating. And the conversation I had with her made me go back to my meditation. And I needed that. You know what I mean? I needed to be able to look at myself and say, you know what? Shit isn't as bad as you're trying to make it out to be. Because when you start vibrating on a certain level, on a certain frequency, you will hold that frequency until you change it. It's the same way as if you're listening to a radio station. The radio station doesn't change itself, you change it. I had to change my station. I had to change my frequency. I had to change my programming. I had to program myself and not allow others to program me. And me having a conversation with someone who has programmed themselves into greatness. So I'm like, I see my friend, which is one of the reasons why when people in my life are winning, I'm like, keep winning. I want my friends to win. I want them to be on top for more than just for them to be on top, because God don't just stop there.
Yeah.
If you're on a frequency, I'm on that same frequency.
Amen.
You get what I'm saying? And if you notice, we all will move each other to the same frequency. We Constance said it earlier. We don't agree on shit. We don't agree on anything. But
no, for real. We were just arguing before we got on. Like
we
literally.
were, but in the best way possible. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
because we really don't agree. It's not like, oh girl, no, these are some core principles that we just really don't agree on. Like you're crazy. This is not her. Yeah, like you're crazy. This is the scientific fact. And she's like, you're crazy because this is a scientific fact.
I just think though, when you're able to be okay with yourself and you've found pleasure in who you are, like you said, you found your own frequencies, your own vibrations, that has nothing to do with anybody else, what you want to do, how you are, you really you become unapologetic about that person, who you are, but you're able to accept other people. It's kind of weird though. You're able to say, oh, we think these different things. My boyfriend will say all the time he doesn't believe in God, blah, 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 whatever. That's not going to change the fact that we vibrate on a frequency together. It's just, that's his belief, and I was raised in the church where you cannot be with somebody who is unequally yoked, and they have to have the same beliefs. At this point, I don't want somebody who has the same beliefs. That shit is crazy. But I'm able to accept him more because it took me a while to accept myself and who I was. The audacity of me to try to force somebody to believe what I believe when it took me a while to come out of others' beliefs, if you get what I'm saying. So I think it becomes a little bit more palatable and acceptable to have other friends who have completely different beliefs, but they're not forcing each other to be on that same thought process. But we're on the same frequency and, feeling the way we feel and knowing what we know, and it works for us. And I love you in that.
It works for you because it be people, two people with the same religions that are in complete turmoil and toxicity. So I think I'd rather have that.
Yeah. Oh no, I think that what we have is beautiful. And I'll tell you why. When I was a child, I was taught you're not going to always agree, right? Yeah. You respect. You can always show respect. You don't have to agree with the person. But when you disagree, you learn.
Yes.
Right? And so that you disagreeing with someone makes you a little bit more intelligent.
Yeah.
It gives you a reason to say, you know what, I still don't agree with what you're saying. Let me still go and do my own research. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
And what we're being taught now, which makes my ass itch, is that we have to always be around like-minded people. That bothers me to my core. I hate
That
being
is
around
stagnant.
like-minded people.
That is a stagnant mindset waiting to happen. Everybody thinking alike, everybody, we all just know it. It's crazy. I have learned so much from other people, although I don't agree with them. Or even, like I said, the meditating aspect. If I turned my back on that, I don't know what the hell I'd be able. I would be crazy, like just to have to sit with myself. But in the church, you know, we need to go get counseling or go to the church, seek God, have somebody pray over me and all this stuff. The stuff that I've learned outside of the church and being open and not being disrespectful to other people's thoughts. And I took a religious class one time. It kind of helped me. I actually, I didn't take it. I accidentally walked in to the class. And I almost got up and like threw my chair, like, nigga, you better preach. He was preaching up there in this religious class. And he was just talking about how everybody, he said, even those who are atheists, he was like, I don't care. Of course, he's a professor. They're kind of, you know, shrewd at times. He's like, I don't care, atheists and all, you have a belief because you do not go to sleep and, you know, put on your clean drawers and put your will by your desk because you have the expectation that you're going to wake up the next day. And so when he was talking about this stuff, it kind of put it on the even playing field where it was like, you know what, we all, you know, we kind of have the same values. We are all trying to be better people in some way, shape, or form, whatever guide that is or whatever.
And the religion keeps us disconnected at when all the wars that have started, you know, historically have been because of religion.
Yep.
It keeps us divided, it keeps us controlled, it keeps us disconnected. Unfortunately, when it's used in the wrong way. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with religion, it's man's usage of religion that kind of fucks it all up. And that's the bad thing about it. Unfortunately, but you know, I think at the end of the day, I know we're not supposed to as Christians, you know, be in just like you said, in relation with people who are not in agreement with us. I know that we're not supposed to you know, fraternize with people who have different thought process, because the idea is that we're going to be brainwashed to thinking something else.
Right.
But this is what's needed. If we need to be challenged, you know, there's a scripture that says, test the spirit by the spirit. We need to be challenged. We need to know what it is, what we believe, why we believe it. Listen, I always be dropping scriptures on April.
And I be like, I don't even believe that that's a real, no, because she'll be like, the Bible says, drop down and get your eagle on. You be like,
I don't think that's part of this.
April. Yep.
Is that what the Bible says? What
April, if you had a church, I will be your first time.
You gonna come to my church?
Don't come to her cult. Do not go to her cult.
I will join her cult.
I'm happy you
said that.
She will have you all the way fucked up.
Church is a cult.
Straight to hell with gasoline draws on. I'm trying to tell you, April will have you on the plane to hell.
The lie detector determined that's
the plane to hell, y'all. Don't do it, Morgan.
First of all,
I'm warning you. I know the scriptures. Attend mine.
Right? She know all the scriptures. The Bible says.
Attend mine, because April will send you straight to hell. You hear me?
The Bible says, mission 1. I'm gonna put this on. Going to get me.
That's crazy.
That sounds like the freedom. The Bible said, turn off the lights and light a candle.
Light a candle. Listen, I'm trying to get a man up in here. Listen, 2024, I'm being intentional about what it is that I need and I won't. You understand what I'm talking about? Now, but you know what, you guys, this has been a great
another conversation.
Right. This has been a great conversation, and I think it's a much needed dialogue. You know, I think that we should be open. I think if we can be open to being free thinkers, that doesn't mean that we don't believe in God. It just means that we are testing the spirit by the spirit. It means that we are seeing what's out there, because I think the problem is we have so much information. We have access to so much information,
Mhm.
and it just is what it is. And so we're not confined to what the teachings were. And so when you have access to this much information, you're like, oh, maybe it's a little bit more to this. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that, this is wrong, but maybe there's just a little bit more.
Yeah.
When you read stuff like the Church of Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea. Do you remember what happened at the Council of Nicaea? Is when
Oh yes, that was when that was what they created when they took away some of the Bible books. Isn't that it?
yeah, this person said, "You are nice. I like this channel." The other lady's always screaming, "Them people mean." Are you talking about Vicky Dillard?
The only reason that I'm laughing is because I was about to find me a gavel.
He said, "Y'all, the lady's always screaming. They mean. Them people mean." Anyway, go ahead. Yes, the Council of the Nicaea is when they decided what was going to be inside the canon.
Mm-hmm.
When they also decided what the Trinity was. Okay, and they voted. Y'all know they voted, right?
Yes.
Whoever won, that's what the Trinity is. So the Trinity
it's
is
politics in the church. I'm lost.
So the Council of Nicaea. So at the council, I want you guys to
see this. I know because I'm a conspiracy theorist.
This chick right here.
Come on, Bishop April.
No, don't encourage the bullshit, because this is the shit that we always be arguing about, because she's a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, girl.
No, but
no.
To this point,
don't encourage this. Don't.
To your point, lady person, I'm saying that yes, that's a problem, because what you're telling me is that truth can be completely changed just because we all voted on it. That's bullshit. Then that means so what part is true and what part is not?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to your point, you talk about the that's my biggest issue as it relates to the church, right? Is you were talking about what with the Trinity. So the Trinity
in 325 AD is when they made the decision of what the Trinity was going to be. I want you to talk about your experience at church.
The Trinity is all men.
Huh?
The Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Where did the Son come from?
They made a decision on
that's what I'm saying. So in every other, hey, sweet potato pie, oh, my darling.
Dragged me up in here.
I was just.
Morgan.
Did you know Morgan was on here?
No, I did not know.
Here, plug this in. You just unplug this. And she looks rough right now. But I did want to. But I did. No, you look pretty though. You're so beautiful.
Pretty rough. Thanks.
Okay, that's how I feel.
But I did want to give my child a space just to say, because we're getting ready to get off because we've been on for a while. But I did kind of speak for you a little bit. We were talking about church. We were talking about church hurt. We were talking about experiences at church. And so I was telling you and I have discussions all the time about this. What are your thoughts? Because we have so many thoughts around kind of, what the truth is and what our beliefs are. And, church, I was telling them about the Book of Joy that we got in trouble for you reading, like all that stuff. Yeah. But just kind of tell them what, where you are.
Well, I feel like my experience, I grew up, I went to a Christian school from kindergarten to third grade. And then from the Christian school, I went to...
Don't say what church.
I wasn't going to say the church. I was going to say I went to church, the one that I basically grew up in. And it was just, I think my whole life been based off of church hurt, because I've been on all the schools I went to, they were a Christian preschool. I went to a Christian preschool too. Every single place I went in, I was bullied. So it was just I've always dealt with bullying and stuff like that from people who are necessarily church folk. And I mean, kids are kids, they're gonna be mean or whatever, but still, I still dealt with even going to church. It was every little thing you do, it's you're gonna go to hell. I'm 8. I'm 9. I'm going to hell because my skirt is up a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pull it down. Like
Right.
I'm not fast. I'm just a little girl. Like
Yeah.
You
This
talked
is-
about being in the constant state of fear.
yeah,
Mm.
like
She
constant
said,
state
I'm
of
not
fear, like,
fast.
just look
It's
at.
real. Girl.
Exactly.
I'm
I'm
not fast. I just have nice legs. I want to show people.
Like, forgive me, my thigh. And yeah, that's another thing too, because your thighs out, it might be distracting some man who doesn't have
Oh yeah, I had a man come put a blanket over my legs.
That happened to me too. That,
At church.
and all
Just 'cause
because
they don't
I
have
am
the
doing my
restraint.
own
Just 'cause-
thigh meat. Damn it!
And I hadn't been in church in 2 years. I come to church and
and
I hadn't been in church in years, and I come to church. I guess my skirt was a little bit too short, but he came and put a blanket over my legs. You was
Clearly it was
there.
distracting him, and he was looking at your thighs. Why do you have to put something on my?
I wasn't even on the front row to tempt the
my problem.
pastor.
right.
Ooh, that,
was
ooh,
it
that
Pastor
pisses me off.
Clavassier or Pastor Offering?
You see what happened, Kyle? You over here triggering me. Girl. Ooh, that mess pisses me
But
off.
she
I had
said
men
she.
say something to me about dresses that I wore on Easter. Oh, you wearing that? I'm like, I don't remember what he said. He was just like, you wearing that dress, or you looking good or something. I said something to him. Oh no, he said I shouldn't be wearing the dress, and I said you should I said you should probably grow up and get over yourself or something. I said something really rude and sarcastic as I was putting the blunt out in front of the church because he had me fucked up. And honestly, I wore the dress to provoke the fact that I know y'all gonna have a problem, and I wish any of you motherfuckers would walk up to me and say shit. That's how I felt.
No,
Let me
well,
wear
you're
this
not
tight ass
supposed to be.
short dress.
My issue is so they always say when it comes to church, come as you are.
Mhm.
Right? Okay. So I come as I am, and then you throw something over me. Listen, do I have an issue with that? 100%. Maybe move me or something. I mean, I'm just saying, like, why are you telling me that I should come as I am? But you're saying you are tempted by me. If you are supposed to be in a place of leadership,
Girl,
you need to be able to be to manage your emotions, your loins, your manage everything. You should be in control. So you're telling me that you have no control, but you want me to have control.
But that's why in Islam, when you go to like a mosque, the women are fully covered so that they won't tempt men.
that's a whole conversation. I can't talk about this now. That's true for me.
I would never
Yeah.
understand
Well,
that.
and that's a whole different.
The church is not made for feminists.
I'm not going to say that that's religion. That's more cultural. I'm not going to ever look down on somebody's culture. That's your culture.
That's religion. Their religion is based upon their culture is based upon the religion. Period.
Yep.
Okay, that's their culture. Like,
But their religion is based upon their culture is based upon the religion.
Y'all always tell me
Ours.
religion is to me, religion's man-made.
100%.
And it's more about like I'm more spiritual. I feel like your walk with God is the most important. It doesn't matter like if you go to church or not. Church doesn't have to be like that place where it's gonna automatically get you to heaven, because it's not true. It's more about the relationship.
I agree.
So it's like I feel like with going to church, I remember when I used to go to church and I used to sing in the choir, like go to choir practice. I used to tell my mama I used to come home mad.
All the time.
Come home mad after choir practice. Like all the time. Like, why am I coming home mad? I shouldn't be feeling this energy. I should be feeling like refreshed. I should be feeling like I'm one with God, but instead I feel like I'm further away because of like the people who I'm like around. So it's like,
and I feel like sometimes there's been so, parenthood doesn't come with a manual, right, or a handbook, right? So I put my daughter in so many situations that I wouldn't do today, but they did make you stronger. I mean, the schools that I sent you to, even the non-Christian schools, like the things that I put you through, because in my effort to like, give you the best, but now you're like, I was traumatized here, I was traumatized there, mommy put me here, mommy put me there, like, and I'm trying, in my effort to be the best mother ever, try to give you the best, and all this shit did was traumatize the hell out of her. It's like,
it sure did.
And so you going to church. I was telling them about how when y'all came home and everybody crying, everybody's scared.
I remember they were like, the world is Jesus is coming in 2012, and so the show did a whole bunch of like like videos of natural disasters and
yeah.
stuff.
Did they actually gave you a time frame? They said Jesus.
Yes.
Did they say that in church?
They also said in the same sentence, I know that, you know, in the Bible it says no one knows the time or the place, but I feel really strongly the Lord is coming in 2012. And it was just like, all of us was scared.
All four of my kids came home crying.
Right.
That's next week. Mama, that's next
Listen,
week.
April, they were probably funded by the same people that got the money to make 2012. That is foolishness. Yeah.
I'm trying. I told you.
Man.
Listen.
They were showing them movies.
Yeah, they were showing us
Apocalyptic
natural
movies.
disasters that was happening, like regular stuff that be happening, but like it was natural disasters.
When they showing you this in church, and how old was the
At
oldest
children's
child?
church, my babies, my
I
boys
was
were
probably
like
14. I was 14, so my brothers were like 9,
9,
7, and 5. Yeah.
Woo.
they scared, and that's when I called the first lady. I was like, y'all can't be teaching my kids this. Like, I can't send them to church. And they coming home scared.
And I was trying to be the strong one though. I sure was. I didn't say I was terrified, but I didn't say nothing because I didn't want them to be
They
scared.
came home crying.
Oh,
They came home crying.
Hold on, Kyle. Tattoo tears.
Yes,
She a
I
thug
knew
like her
that
mama.
too,
She a
tears.
thug like her mama.
Absolutely.
No, but ladies, listen. Let's wrap this up. Morgan, I appreciate you coming on here with us and you know just kind of discussing your truth because what you feel is very real and very valid. It's your experience, and nobody can take that away from you. And I appreciate you having the courage to share it because,
yeah.
you know, it's real. I probably wouldn't have shared it, you know, rolling the blunt and listening to gospel music, but you know, that's your truth. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you living, walking, and speaking in your truth.
I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change any piece of it. It's made me who I am today. Completely.
I love that. April, you have any last words?
I do. Live a good life. Meditate. Be ugly.
Yes.
Just and love on people. Like I feel that if we're gonna have a religion, let's have a religion called love.
Yeah.
Let's love on each other. Find the beauty in everybody, even when you disagree. Find what makes them the most amazing humans in the world. Find the beauty in everyone.
Like, where's my checkbook to the building fund?
Don't do
Right,
that.
yes.
Stop encouraging the
Make
fool.
a donation to the building fund.
Don't encourage the
Please
foolishness.
make sure, make a donation
Not bad.
to the building fund.
No, I just feel like I said, I feel like spirituality, church. I feel like spirituality is more important than church. For real, it's just like I feel like it's more about your one-on-one relationship with God, and I feel like as long as you know that, that's like the most important thing. And I feel like God always speaks to us in different ways. I know, like for me, like it's intuition, like the intuitive thoughts, the gut feelings, all that type of stuff is when God is speaking to me. And I feel like as long as you're in tune with that, you'll be fine.
Ooh, I'm gonna get in trouble. My parents is gonna beat my ass if they hear what you have to say.
I love
Morgan,
what
you
you
have
said.
Morgan, you have anything you
Thank
wanted
you.
to add to the conversation?
No, I completely agree with. I agree with Kyle completely on that one. And I know it's a millennial thing. I know they joke about it with us saying we're not religious, we're spiritual. But I find that we are doing okay. And it's working for us. And until something new comes about, hopefully my kids can explore a little bit more and, get beyond the veil more than we already are.
That part. And I just say, listen, don't be afraid to explore different things, because what you might end up learning is that what you learned is actually the truth. I think people are so afraid to explore outside of what they've been taught because they're afraid that maybe they know the truth, and the truth is something that they weren't taught, and they're afraid of that. So I say, don't be afraid to explore, because the truth may be what you already know.
Yeah.
And it may make your faith even stronger. Mm-hmm. And so just be respectful of what everybody, what everybody's belief system is. We don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in. So just operate from that space, just like April said, of love. And when you can love somebody from the depth of the bottom of your heart and the depths of your soul, it's everything. It's absolutely everything. And I love y'all. I love y'all for real in real life. So I appreciate you guys being on here. Thank you so much. Morgan, don't